Welcome back, mainframe friends. It is Stephen with New to Zed, and in this video, we're going to look at how we can quickly retrieve previous commands in ISPF using the Retrieve pop-up panel. This allows mere mortals like myself to quickly remember up to 25 of my most recent commands, and it's very, very helpful if you've entered some really long commands that make War and Peace look small, and, like me, can't afford to melt any more brain cells. Let's get started. All right, I have my standard task list up here, and I have been typing some extremely long commands, and I'd like to not have to remember what they were. In order to get access to the Retrieve pop-up panel, we simply come to the command line, type RETP, and press enter. This brings up the Retrieve pop-up panel. As you can see, I have been using some extremely long and hard to remember commands. Now you might be thinking, well, Stephen, you said there are 25 commands, up to 25 commands, and I only see 13 here. You're very observant. Well, this is actually a scrollable list. And if I press F8, you can see that it now shows 13 through 25. So there are, in fact, 25 commands here, or 17 at least, but 25 options. At a high level, it works on the last in, first out LIFO principle. This means that the most recent command you entered goes to the top of the stack and the oldest one goes to the bottom. If you have 25 commands and enter a 26th command, the oldest command will be removed from the list first. So let's scroll back up and take a look at how we can actually retrieve these commands. I'm going to press F7 to go back to the top of the list. And there are two ways that we can do this. The first is by entering the number and pressing enter. And you can see now we have retrieved the Retrieve pop-up panel command. Press enter again, and oh, well, I typed that incorrectly. It's actually RETP, not REPT. So if I had typed the correct command, it would have actually worked. Now, the other way to do this is through point and shoot. Each one of these is point and shoot enabled, so if I double click on the first one, you can see that it now comes up. And of course, we know that that is the incorrect command. And we're going to take a look at some options here. If we come up here to the options menu, we have a couple here, which is set minimum number of characters saved in the retrieve stack. And this is really helpful if you want to ignore shorter commands like ref or refresh or little things like that. You could set the minimum length to 4, so only the commands with a length of 4 or more will be added to this stack. And the other one we have here is select cursor position for retrieve. Let's take a look at that real quick. From this panel, I can say where I want my cursor to be after I've retrieved the command and it's on the command line. In this case, the default is at the end of the command. So if we retrieve one of these, we'll retrieve this first one here. You can see that my cursor is there at the end of it. We go back in here. Oops. If we go back in here and we come up here to the options again, we can say that we'd really like it to happen at the start of the command. So we'll retrieve one more time this wrong command, and you can see now that the cursor is positioned on the first character at the beginning of the command. Next, let's take a look at a curiosity that happens when we have entered an extremely long command and we want to access this. So you can see right here that number 2, this extremely long command has been truncated with a greater than symbol. Now, this is a point of confusion for those new to using this panel. It's perfectly fine though. Don't worry, the entire command is still here, and when you retrieve it, as we're going to do right now, you can see that it is indeed right there. All right, in this video, you've learned to quickly retrieve previous commands using the Retrieve pop-up command, and this will save you a lot of time and effort when working with really long commands. But remember, it's only going to hold your last 25 commands. You've also learned that extremely long commands can be truncated with a greater than symbol, but it's okay, the full command is still there. We also took a look at how to change the position of the cursor after you've retrieved the command, and we briefly touched on how to filter short commands out of the list so that they're not taking up space. Until next time, this is Stephen for New to Zed. Remember, green screens aren't scary, and may the code be with you.